All right. Hello, everyone. In there. Give it one size. All right. I thought I would get us started with feeding my own two kitties their food. So they're going to be very excited. Maya, come here, sweetie. Maya. Maya, come here. They're really enthusiastic about this food. Come here. Come on. So I freeze a day's worth of food into a quart-sized bag. And it doesn't smell very good, I'll just forewarn you. But they love their food. Come here, Maya. Your butt's in the way. Can you move your butt? Move your butt. Here you go. Here you go. So you can watch them eat. Maya. Maya. Maya, come here. Come here. Maya. Want some food? Look, right here. There you go. Good girl. Come on. Come here. There you go. Right. While they enjoy their food, I'm going to wash my hands once more.
Oh, okay. I passed one of my tests today for my
Oh, nice.
cybersecurity.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm taking,
Hi, guys.
this is Snowpea and Maya. I just fed them their dinner so they wouldn't be, like, climbing all over me to get to the food. Once they're done eating, I'm going to put the cam up there. But if you want a cozy chair, I can tilt it so it's not on cam. Or if you don't care, I can put my other cams over it. Or I can give you a chair in the doorway. Or you can wear one of these and help me with it.
For now, I'll take a chair in the doorway.
Okay. Perfect.
But don't worry too much about a chair right this second. I've been sitting kind of all day, so.
I'll just leave this out there.
Hi,
for
guys.
To use.
They're like, we like food.
They really love this food. They've been yelling at me since I got home. Maya has devoured her food.
Well, it might be a very appropriate time because Nala is got to go to the vet yesterday.
Oh.
Which with a Siamese is not fun.
Yeah.
It probably has cystitis. That's the one out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Probably from stress because one of the other cats is young and it keeps chasing her. So anything that gets more liquid into her and
exactly.
Stuff.
Yeah, they were unkillable for a long time, and then I don't remember why I tried. Oh, Snowpea had crystals, and the canned food seemed so expensive to me at the time for like the CD.
Yeah.
And I switched him to kibble, and then he just felt like stiff, like a inflammation kind of stiff. And I had happened to just walk into Natural Pet Pantry in Kirkland one day, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you should try, raw food for him." And he took to it right away, which was great. She's super picky. She didn't take to it right away, and then like 6 months later, I caught her eating his food. I was like, yes, exactly. And so I switched her to raw. And she wouldn't eat it plain. I had this supplement that my holistic vet at the time had me put on for him, and it was a pH. It's Wysong pH something.
Okay.
And it was supposed to balance his pH in the right direction to help with the crystals.
Right.
And she really liked it, and so she'd eat anything as long as I sprinkled that on there. And so that's what I was doing for a while, and then I was being foolish and letting him come outside and sit on my blanket while I read a book. He wandered off the blanket, he was eating grass, and then he was eating a daylily.
Oh.
And I didn't really think of them as lilies, because they don't look like Easter lilies.
Yeah, they're not the other kind of lilies.
But apparently they are toxic.
Yeah.
And so he spent 56 hours hooked up to IV fluids at the emergency vet right over there.
Himself out, yeah.
Yeah. And I think he would have been mostly okay, because I think he vomited up most of it. But at that point I was like, holy cow, I realized how much I was spending on raw food, which was over $200 a month for my 2 cats.
Yeah.
Because she throws up chicken and turkey, so she has to be on rabbit, which is a novel protein, which is expensive. Yeah, and then so I had them on can for a while, and we had a ton of different foods. And then winter, I weighed Maya in January because I thought she looked a little bit thinner.
Mm-hmm.
And she had lost a few ounces from September. It wasn't huge. And then in March, my roommate, I don't think she'll be here tonight, she took a picture of her on the piano. And I was like, oh, what a cute picture. And then I looked at my cat and she was like, she looks skinny. I mean, she's a skinny cat as is, but I was like, uh-oh. And I weighed her and she'd lost almost a pound since January.
She doesn't exactly have a pound to lose. Yeah.
No. And so I realized, I'm pretty sure that she wasn't digesting the canned beef that I was feeding her. So, that cheap protein was out. Whenever I've tried raw beef with her, it's instant vomit. So I've kind of narrowed down proteins she likes, but she was eating like 150 to 200% of her expected amount of food and still losing weight.
Yeah.
No thyroid issue. Her liver enzymes were elevated, but I think maybe because she wasn't digesting the beef, that was causing the liver enzymes to be all wonky.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I need her on the right diet for her, and I need him on wet. Even though she'd be fine on she'd be okay on kibble, he would not because he'd get crystals.
Mm-hmm.
So I finally gave in and used the recipe from cattinfo.org.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the easiest thing to do, but it gives them the diet that they need. And it fits a little bit better in my budget.
Well, and I'm looking at it going, I have 6 cats.
Yeah.
And they go through about 6 cans of Merrick wet food a day at $2 a can.
And if you can feed them like turkey and chicken,
yeah,
it saves you so much money.
Mine are on turkey, and they think this is just the cat's meow. I've got one that can't have fish, so there's no fish. But I don't have anybody who's really sensitive to chicken or turkey.
So well, good.
It's just a matter of getting interested in it.
Yeah, and some cats will take to it right away. She needed that supplement, and for some reason that seemed like food to her. And once she switched over, she wouldn't eat anything else until I switched back to canned. And I was like, yes, I get to save money. But I had switched her to BFF, which was, it's an okay food.
Yeah, it's
but
okay food.
Do you know what fish does to cats? It increases the whatever it is that forms crystals. And she was peeing outside the box. And as soon as I got rid of the fish, she stopped peeing outside the box. And once I got rid of the beef, she was healthy again. And her liver enzymes are better now than they were 2 years ago, which is great. So, yay.
Now, how much do you give them a day of raw food?
On her website, they recommend 4 to 6 ounces per cat per day.
Okay.
I give them closer to 4 ounces each a day.
Okay.
They would both eat more, but he doesn't lose too quickly on that amount. And she actually eats more than he does. He'll eat maybe 75% of his food and walk away, and she'll finish it.
Clean up.
Yeah.
She's doing at the moment. What's left in here?
She loves it. And I usually will add in extra water once I divvy it up in their bowls anyway, just to keep their kidneys nice and flush.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm doing for Nella right now, with just the canned food, is I'm putting her half a can in there and then adding some water and kind of mushing it around because she likes to lap up liquid anyway.
She's always been a gravy cat, and so she's finally accepted my offering of water mixed with food, and
this is okay.
Yeah. And she used to not ever be a lap cat, and when I moved her from kibble to raw the first time, she started sitting on my lap for the first time. And she still did it on canned, which was okay, but she's been back to her extra affectionate self since I've gone on this.
She just probably just feels better.
Yeah, she does. Snoopy's been about the same. He's kind of a take love where I get it.
Drive-by cat.
Yeah. He'll eventually be in your space, you have black pants on, I need to coat it with white fur.
It's that's okay, I'm used to that.
Yeah. I wore these today to go pet sit, and it sticks to me so horribly. So that's basically what I do.
Oh, okay, cool.
And why I started doing the raw. And I tried the dehydrated raw at one point, and Maya, just for her it didn't work because she just vomited every time I tried it with her. Snoopy liked it, but it still was not as cheap as making it myself.
Yeah.
And the price of this is comparable to buying the cheaper canned. I was buying it from Whole Cat and Caboodle, and they have pretty good prices on their canned food. And I was ranging like $1.50 to $1.89 a can for the novel proteins there. I just, now their poop doesn't stink anymore, so
that's a bonus.
yeah, like I literally have not changed litter boxes all week. Do you smell any poop?
No.
Good. That's one of the like surprising, delightful benefits of a raw food diet is the poop smell. It's really nice.
Well, Dex, one of my cats can clear a room. So.
Oh
Hi, Maya. You're a pretty girl.
Turn her bed cam and his other cam in. All right. And
I don't mean to block you, sweetie. You can come back right past me.
Maya
comes over, looks at me, and leaves.
So the recipe that I use is I would do 100% rabbit, but they need more fat and a little less bone. And none of the people that grind rabbit will remove the bones. And bones are good; they need it for the calcium and stuff. But the bone to meat ratio in rabbit is pretty close.
Yeah.
So I add turkey, and she's okay with a little bit of turkey. It's an 8-to-3 ratio, 8 parts rabbit to 3 parts turkey. And so I took the recipe on the website and modified it to what I can order direct.
Now, who are you ordering from?
There is it's on the East Coast. There was a place here that went out of business last year.
Okay.
But the people I order the rabbit from, it's right on there. Hair today.
Okay.
Gone tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. And I know that Natural Pet Pantry sources their rabbit from somewhere in California because the local person doesn't do it anymore. They sold their business, and the person buying it out lost one of their suppliers after the business sold, and then trying to make enough for the people that actually need it has been a struggle. So unfortunately, even though my food could be cheaper, it's not.
And you get the turkey from the same place? Or?
Yeah, I do. You can do your own turkey, like if you go to Whole Foods or wherever and get some organic turkey with meat on it. You can take it off the bone and use a food processor. I really don't like taking meat off bones. Grosses me out.
I'm looking at this and go, hey, it looks like, this is a whole lot easier than having to grind it myself and invest in a grinder. So.
Exactly. Yeah, we have a grinder, but I really didn't want to do that because I'm grossed out by meat on bones. I eat meat, but I wouldn't be surprised if some point in the next, few years I'll go a little more vegetarian than carnivorous. So yeah, so the recipe, I'm gonna put this up on the cam for people to see. I used comparable ratios to break this down into 5 pounds of rabbit to 3 pounds. 3/4 pounds turkey. Is that what it is? Alright, so I know that 2 of these is worth 3/4 of this.
Okay.
So I don't know what the measurements are right now. My brain is not working. I'm going to get on the other side of this and do the gross thing and cut up the turkey. And I am missing I had a gallon size Ziploc, but I think I'm going to have to make this one. Alright. I'm also going to put gloves on because when you use the meat, the smell of it sticks.
Fingers, yeah.
Yes.
The texture is what sometimes will get to me.
Yeah.
Like making meatloaf, it's kind of like.
Yeah. My husband usually does the mixing part, and I do all the vitamins and stuff. But he's at a thing tonight, so I was like, well, I guess I'll make it myself. And pretty purple gloves it is. Hi, Jen. Penny Sue and Terminator are watching. One of my adopters, Jen, is watching. And then cousin, I think, is watching. Alright, so I'm just going to estimate 3/4 of a pound here.
Now, when they ship it to you, do they ship it frozen? Or?
Yeah, they ship it frozen. You save money. The price per pound goes down if you order a box with 55 pounds worth of meat.
Okay.
So I ordered 8 of the rabbit and 3 of the turkey. They have a ton of different proteins on there. They had like pork and don't do it, Snoopy. Don't do it, Snoopy.
Let's not do that one.
When they were on the canned food diet where they thought they were starving all the time, I'd come home every day after work and wake up every morning to the garbage dumped over. So we had to invest in a new garbage can.
Mm-hmm. We had to get one of the heavy bottom ones that couldn't be knocked over.
Oh, yeah.
Mine don't get in the garbage can, but they want to sit on top. That's their stool to watch in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So they get up on there and they're watching, which is better than the counter. So.
That makes sense. All right. Can I have you put this in my freezer in the kitchen? When you first come in, to the right is the rec room, and then there's a kitchen to the left. Thank you. Hi, Snoopy. Thank you. So I took that 3/4 of a tube of turkey and I just cut it straight in half, so it's not precisely the measurements, but it's easier for me to do it that way.
Okay.
My husband will actually weigh out everything and divide things precisely, which is great. Except I'm not quite that invested. I really dislike the smell of ground rabbit, and you may, if you don't have to worry about rabbit, then it'll be good. But rabbit's really stinky, I think. Probably because I'm not used to it.
Probably.
Yeah, this is lovely.
Yeah, I noticed the recipe called for like rabbit and chicken. So the recipe I saw was.
Yep. And I believe turkey is the one that's highest in taurine. So the process I'm going to go through today is I'm going to mix up the meats together, and then I'm going to mix the supplemental things,
right.
Taurine, vitamin E. She does call for fish oil, so I don't know if your cat that has issue with fish has the issue with the protein itself or the oils.
Seems to be the protein because he's had salmon oil and been okay.
Okay, good. And I ordered all my supplements from, I think it was iHerb, the one that she recommended on the website.
Okay.
And I haven't had to replace any yet, and this is I think technically it's the 4th recipe I've made, or 5th. And I still have most of my supplement bottles full of food. So for those of you watching, I have even amounts of turkey and rabbit, equal ratios of turkey and rabbit in each of these bowls. I'm doing a double recipe just because I don't want to do this every week. And last time we made this batch, I think it lasted 21 days. But I could make it last a little bit longer. I might be able to get it to last a whole month if I brought down their servings a little bit. So what Mike usually does is he will throw all the meat in a food processor to do that, mix it really well, but I won't do that until I add the supplements. But right now I'm just mixing turkey and rabbit together.
With an audience.
Yes.
It's like,
last time we made it, she kept climbing up on the counter trying to get a taste. She like knows that it's her food. And I think one time we made the mistake of trying to thaw out some of the food on the counter. And they helped themselves to a little gravy.
Obviously, it was self-serve.
Yeah, exactly. What we do now is we just pull out the meat we need, and then we put it in a cooler of water. And so it stays cool.
Cool, but not frozen.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I don't think anything in here is actually fully frozen. It's very cold, but not fully frozen. All right.
Those are probably Mike-sized gloves.
Huh?
Those are probably Mike-sized gloves.
They are. They're size large.
Ah.
And I think when I ordered them, I just didn't, I hadn't even ever tried on medium gloves before. So I think next time we'll get medium. Alright, so for now.
So were those ice crystals or what?
Yeah, they were ice crystals. They were stuck to the package. I haven't come across any bone that's too big, like that I can actually notice when I've been mixing it. I see it in their dishes afterward, but I use the fine ground. I think it's a little bit more, but
it's all good tips. I'm kind of storing away all the tips.
Exactly. All right, so that's going to be mixed enough for now. And then I have another set of gloves that I can use. So the next thing that I'm going to mix up are the supplements. With some water. Yes, she is. Maya, are you trying to help yourself?
We see you.
No. Maybe I should just. No, Maya. No. Where is this? I will bring it all up here. Actually, this might work out quite well right here at this angle. So, I'm just going to leave it somewhere. I'm going to bring the water over here. I'm going to move the meat out of reach of her. I'm going to use this later. So the meat out of the way.
You look so hopeful, Maya.
She does.
Oh, there she does.
Hello, darling. Go on.
Hey, wait.
I just realized I need a measuring spoon. So I'm going to run out and grab that with my teaspoon. Yes. Thank you. I have all of it.
Hi. Hi, baby. Hi.
Hi, darling. Yeah.
She's trying to figure out how to get down to the meat.
Like, how do I get in his food? Alright, so I am going to mix one batch of water with one batch of supplements. And I'll do it a second time because I'm making a double recipe. I'm also going to increase the font size on the chat so I can answer any questions. Maya?
Maya. Don't knock everything over. Please.
Go on. Go on. I did plan ahead and put extra water in here. So the recipe that I worked out is 2.5 cups of water. And I can share my proportions if you guys end up making your own stuff later. This seems like a more stable place. Maya, you were being so helpful.
We still the blender.
Yeah, they'll be out here.
I was going to say, yeah, mine won't stand for them.
So the first recipe calls for, or the first part I have on here is eggs. Separate the egg whites and the egg yolks. And I will, the egg whites in here, because we separate them because the egg whites need to be cooked. I believe the protein that's in the egg whites isn't processed by the cats or something. I'm pretty sure Lisa explains that on the website. I don't get uber particular about getting every last drop of the egg white, but I will do 5 egg yolks in here. And then once I have all the vitamins added in here, I will just microwave the egg whites until they are opaque. They can still be runny as long as they're opaque. Are there any questions of anybody watching? Gigi, the cost of commercial raw food to homemade raw, the cost of the commercial stuff is greater. And depending on what protein you use, it could be, the homemade stuff could be less than canned, but I'm trying to figure out, I can't remember how much I figured out that the cost to feed them per day, but I think it worked out to be, the rabbit and turkey mix is about the same price as the plain turkey from the local place where I've been buying raw food. I think the raw turkey at Natural Pet Pantry was like $7.95 a pound. The rabbit was $11.95 a pound. That adds up really quickly. And I forgot to put my gloves on. So the next thing I'm going to do, so the per pound, I think it's about $7 a pound for this, and I feed them about half to 3/4 of a pound. No, I feed 10 to 12 ounces a day, so less than 3/4 of a pound a day, which is about $5 a day. And the way they were eating canned, they were wanting 3 cans a day, which, I mean, I was only feeding them 2 of the 5.5 ounce cans a day, but
they would probably eat a third.
Yes, exactly. All right, so we need 25,000 milligrams of fish oil, which means 25 of these capsules. You can either puree them in here, or you can cut them open. I will forewarn you that they stink and they splatter everywhere. So we just do 5 at a time. Somebody in chat, please keep track. Pineapple does belong on pizza, Terminator. What is your chat name? What's your Kitten Cam chat name? I have no idea. Because I never chat.
I'm Nala's mom.
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. You're Nala's mom. Gotcha. And Nala was one of John's kids?
Yep. One of the mom of the clones.
Okay, I didn't watch much of that litter. I think I had a mom cat who needed to be syringe fed at that time.
Yeah, you had somebody who was high needs at the time because we talked after the kitten came on after she was adopted.
Oh, okay.
Because you were sitting there.
Yes. And how old is Nala?
She's 5.
Oh, okay. So that must have been my very first litter, and that was when they were very sick. I might have still been with Perfect Pals at the time.
Well, Nala they caught when she was probably about 2, they think. So we've had her about 3 years.
Did you see that?
It's good that you wear glasses.
Yes.
So we've had her about 3 years.
Okay.
So about 3 years.
Okay. That was probably when I had Moonshadow. That's her new name. She was the mother of it was a Hobbit kittens. And I had to syringe feed her for almost 2 weeks. I'm so glad that I did, but I know now, like, so she was really sick. She came from a shelter in Eastern Washington.
Mm-hmm.
I should have worn gloves for this. My hands are going to stink so bad tomorrow and for the next 3 days. And she came in with an upper respiratory, and she just couldn't eat for weeks.
Yeah.
And 4 of her 6 kittens, once they were in their new adoptive homes, were all diagnosed with FIP. So I'm pretty sure she had the coronavirus, which is what FIP mutates from. And she probably just had a really severe version of it. And it's entirely possible that she was like, one of those 1 in a million cats that
actually managed to make it through.
Yeah. So, all right, this is
number 5.
5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Look at your cat trees.
Oh, look at my fingers. Oh.
That's not so bad.
Apparently Terminator does not believe that pineapple belongs on pizza. I wonder why. Pineapple goes really well with pepperoni, I think.
Yeah.
I prefer it over ham myself. I might get to the last 10 and just throw them in here. There are some other capsules that blend a little bit better than these ones. These ones are a little more heavy. I'm sure that you could set them in water overnight and they dissolve on their own, which actually would be a good preventative.
Just requires planning.
Yeah, planning.
But I don't have the planning part.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, last time I got to the end of the food and I was like, oh no, we don't have any of the food ordered, and I fed them on the other food for a few days until the ground stuff arrived, and they didn't tolerate it as well as they had in the past, so we had a couple days of vomiting.
Yes, they alarm clock, no cat on their ones.
Yeah, exactly. Gosh, that's 4 a.m. was when they would vomit.
I always say if you want an alarm clock to get any cat under your bed, just make it loud cat barfing near your head.
Yes, they've actually, that's where several of them went. Maya, do you want to lick my fingers?
She's still looking suspicious at me.
What do you think, Maya?
I don't know this person. I'm not sure this. But I don't want to get too far from the food.
Gigi, the amount that I'm paying for this rabbit mix, I think it works out $5 a day for these 2 cats. I think previously I was feeding Maya 2/3 of a pound a day of rabbit at $11.95 a pound, and Snow Pea was getting 2/3 of a pound a day of. No. They were each getting 1/3 a pound. They each got 1/3 a pound a day. So 1/3 of 12 is 4. So she was about $4 a day to feed, and Snow Pea was 1/3 of 8, which is 2 2/3, I think. So $2.66. So between the two of them, I think it was like $6.75 a day to feed.
And you're rabbit heavy too, which makes it more expensive. So if you have a cat that doesn't need it to be rabbit heavy, you won't be
Exactly.
10 more.
10 more. All right, we are going to experiment. There's 6, just so that people can see what it looks like when we puree these. Oh, my hands are so slippery. There's 10 in here. I'm going to go wash my hands and then put gloves on for the rest of it.
When you're going to the kitchen anyway, do you want to...
Oh, sorry, baby. Yeah. Here's a fork so that you can whisk. You were offering to microwave it for me?
Well, I could. But I also thought I'd make it a one-stop shop.
Oh, yes. Good thinking.
Once. I don't know if I trust you, Missy.
Maya. I try to do that too. He's not out without me very often, so it's kind of a challenge, but
so it's hot. Don't freak.
All right, so we microwaved the eggs while we were out there. It's probably about 2.5 minutes or so.
Yeah, 30-second bursts and stirred in between so it didn't just form a clump.
Yep. All right. Let's see. Jen, these supplements are easy to come by. I just ordered them online. I think it was about $40 worth of supplements, and they're gonna last me. This one will last me 10 recipes. So I finished the salmon oil.
Yep.
I'm going to add the egg whites in here now. So it's just, they've been cooked. Do you guys want closer view of what I'm actually doing? Because I can do that. If you want.
I would think just showing them what it looks like once it's blended up.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Right.
So the next thing I have is vitamin E. For this recipe of 5 pounds rabbit and 3/8 of 5 pounds of turkey, I'm doing 1,000 IUs of vitamin E, which Mike keeps using. So these come in 400 IU tablets. So is this the one that I decided I could? Well, I'll just open them. So open the capsules. This is dry vitamin E.
You could use oil too if you wanted to. Right?
Yes, you could use oil. I just made things harder myself. I think these capsules are actually cellulose. Yeah, vegetarian capsules. Not that that matters because these guys are obligate carnivores. So I just open the capsule and pour the powder in. And I make sure that I go on, I just use the higher end of all the oils because this recipe will be a little bit lower in fat than some of the other recipes because of the rabbit.
Because the rabbit's look at it, yeah.
And then I'll use half of this. Wrong way. All right. Let's save this half capsule for the next recipe. The next thing I have on here is vitamin D, or vitamin B, B50, and I need 2.5 capsules of this. And last time I did this, I saved, I think last time I actually didn't do all the correct supplements, but I did happen to save a half capsule right here. So I've got 2.5 to do. It's also a dry powder, so you can just pull it apart, shake it all in. This is actually part of the recipe that I probably don't need the gloves for. Because I think I'm done. So I'm going to just save these for later. Now that I've finished with the fish oil.
Kind of the wrong order thing.
Yes, the wrong order thing.
Gloves first, next time.
This is actually the first time I've used gloves because it's the first time I've actually had to mix the meat myself.
Well, it's the fish oil we got you.
Yes, the fish oil is really smelling that for a while.
It'll be very popular for you.
Yes. The next thing we have is taurine, 5,000 milligrams for this recipe I have. These are 1,000 milligram tablets, so I'm going to do 5. 1. Okay, you can stay there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Also, capsules with dry stuff in it. In the recipe on the website, if you are doing a plain turkey recipe, you don't need as much taurine supplement because turkey is high in taurine. I don't know what the difference in value is, but you'll have to look that up if that's what you make. Nice Snoopy. And then iodized salt. I can't remember why the cats need the iodized salt, but I do 2.5 teaspoons of it based on the recipe that I adjusted to my ingredients.
And that's the light salt. It's part sodium and part potassium. No?
Yes.
I think it's the potassium. That's why it's
potassium.
The light salt and
yep.
not the regular salt.
It has salt, potassium chloride, calcium silicate, magnesium carbonate, dextrose, potassium, and iodide. So 1, 2, 1.5. There we go. I also just happen to keep all my supplements in the same box so that it's easy to find the next time, except for the one that does not fit. Which is the gigantic fish oil. Nice Snoopy. So that is it for the supplements. I have water, eggs, fish oil, vitamin E, vitamin B50 complex, taurine, and iodized salt. And now you guys get to watch the cats freak out because I'm going to plug in the Vitamix and blend it thoroughly. I will also turn down the volume in a moment. Right here. Alright, so I keep forgetting that I can keep this over here and adjust things as needed. So I'm going to puree it until I don't hear very many capsules going around. So just be aware. I am going to turn the sound off so you don't have to listen to this beast. Alright, volume off. So I just set it on the puree setting on my Vitamix, and it's pretty much as pureed as it's going to get at this point. Move this guy out of the way till later. Now I mix. What we would normally do is use the food processor to thoroughly mix all of the meat with this, so it's balanced. I think if I divide it into 2, it'll work. And that's why I brought that second bowl. Alright, so we have this and this. I just dropped the big mixing spoon down into the litter box. That's a very foster mom thing to do. Alright. But I'm going to use my gloves to mix, so what are you going to do? Alright, so the next thing I need up here is our industrial food processor. Now, I am going to slide this over a bit. And I'm actually going to measure out the meat and the supplement blend so that they're equal portions for the meat. There we go. Better solution. There. This is not stabilizing. Alright, I'm going to have to do this on the counter. There's just enough room. I'm going to have to do it on the desk because it's the only solid surface I have here. Alright. So right. The turkey and rabbit mixed together is too heavy. About 3,000 grams. It's a handful over 3,000 grams. So here we go. So I'm going to hold this handful. I'm going to make 1,500 grams in each bowl, which is 3 kilograms, right? 1,000 grams is kilograms. All right. That's close enough. All right. So I have approximately 1.5 kilograms per bowl. I'm going to get some gloves so I can move things around. Hi, Maya. Yes, this is your food. Maybe just one glove at a time. All right, I will be muting the thing shortly, but not too quickly. I am going to estimate. Oops, you guys can't see me, can you? estimate about half of this per bowl. I should weigh it. Oh man, that stinks. So, how far down does the foam go? Oh, not very far. Okay, so this is, I cannot read it. 1,400 something milliliters. So, we'll take it down to about 700 milliliters. One more. $7.50. It's a little more. I estimate the foam as well. Let's get a little bit of foam out. So this is about equal portions. Oh look, there's all the capsules. They are getting softer, by the way, so I'm pretty sure soaking capsules in water overnight for the fish oil should work. You can do it out of sight of the cats, out of reach of the cats. Maybe even if you warm the water a little bit, that might help it digest a little bit faster. I did get it all over me. I'm going to run out and grab, oh no, I have a, yeah. No, I'm not going to run out and grab anything. I'm going to try this step with my bare hands. I'm going to mute it so you don't hear me blending, but I'm going to pour it in and mix it. And I'm not going to mix it so much that it's like sauce. I'm going to try to keep some of the texture. Alright, so the next step that I would do, once I have it all mixed, you guys have seen most of the process, but once it's thoroughly mixed, then I portion out a day's worth of food, and I just use a 1/4 cup measure. I think it was a 1/4 cup measure. 4 1/4 cup measures gets me approximately 10 to 12 ounces. So I guess that's a cup of food, isn't it?
8 ounces is by weight.
Oh yeah.
Or 8 fluid ounces.
Took off the gloves prematurely.
And then are you just freezing it in little containers or?
I freeze it in quart-sized bags because so it's easier to fit in my freezer that way. Once I fill up the food, I flatten out the packaging so that it freezes flat, so it defrosts easier.
Oh, okay.
And then I can fit like a week's worth of food in a gallon size. So I put like 7 quart-sized bags into a gallon size, and I have, you know, a week worth of food there. I am going to do this just to get it in there and mixed, but I'll probably package it once. Actually, I might have to go put that raw in the fridge while I finish it up. This is so gross. Looks like vomit.
Luckily, it doesn't smell that bad.
Yeah. My roommate came. I'm going to mute it again so you guys don't hear that.
I guess it depends on how masochistic you are.
Yes, exactly. I actually think it's really cute when I watch Maya eat chunky food, because she'll like use her paws and stuff to pull it out, and then she'll bring it onto her little placemat and eat it there.
Oh, and the chunks off there.
Yeah. Oh my, it smells so good. All right. I'm going to go put this bowl and that bowl in the fridge until I package it. And I'll package that other bowl. Thank you. So, I do not do any dry food, Jen. All right. Use my Ziplocs. Actually, I do actually want to weigh that. This one might be a little more flat. Yeah, that's a little more flat. Let's see if I can get a good weight on it. Is it stable or not? Hello. I have a friend over watching me make raw food. Kitties.
Hello. In the middle of the road here.
Oh yes, I'm also doing it on the internet. Oh yeah.
Broadcasting cat food alchemy.
Yes, I thought this one was fitting.
No cat food.
Had to make sure
Oh, it smells so good.
Probably smells it.
Mm-hmm.
Maya, who is perpetually starving.
Yes.
No matter how much you feed her.
Yes. At least now she's not losing weight and stuff.
She's extra shiny and soft.
She is. She
She's
looks great.
starting to have the raw food especially.
You notice that? Alright, so I think it must have been 1/3 cups that I was using before. So I'm gonna mix it in, get all of the possible of the stuff. Oh, you guys can't see that, can you? I have to move this back over here. So I think if I do one of those 3.4 ounces. So maybe if I only do 3 of these, not okay, what's the 1/4 cup I was using? So I'm just keeping an eye to make sure I get over 10 ounces, but it's less than 12. And so I'm going to do 3.5 of these. So this is, I'm going to make 11 ounces. Okay, so there's 11 ounces.
Maya, what are you doing?
I'm going to go like that.
Yeah.
I squeeze all the air out, and then I will
Just
flatten it out, basically. And it just freezes easier.
And that's one day or one meal?
That's one day. And so I'll either pull it out first thing in the morning and set it in a basin of water, and then just let it defrost about half an hour, or I'll set it in the fridge overnight. And it's usually still a little bit frozen if I put it in the fridge overnight, but the basin works a little bit better, I think, for getting it to manageable temp that does not give your cats a brain freeze.
Considering that they think that mouse temperature is good.
Exactly. A full hour in a basin of like room temperature water is probably ideal. Or maybe not even that long, because I usually use cold water in the morning. So I'm going to switch to the 1/4 cup. I'm going to do 4 of those. The 1/4 cup gives me, about 2.5 ounces. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just shy of 10 ounces. So this is going to be not quite 11 ounces. There you go. I just zip it most of the way up, squeeze all the air out, and then I flatten it on the counter, like so. I stack them on top of each other so that they remain flat while I'm waiting, and that's about it. I just do this until it's all done. And I'll make a second batch, the next batch later.
You have to wash every mixing bowl and kick the
Exactly.
in the house.
Exactly. So, yeah. I'm going to switch back and forth between these two because I haven't decided which one I prefer. I do 3 heaping 1/3 cups.
Okay.
Maybe that'll give me the right measurement. Yeah. 3 heaping 1/3 cups. It's actually a little more than I need. Perfect. So, I feed them twice a day, Jen. I feed them morning and evening. I feed 2 to 3 ounces per meal per cat, I believe. Yeah, that's about it. 2 to 3 ounces per meal per cat. Let's see. Yeah, just breakfast and dinner. So, do you have any questions?
No, it sounds like what I need to go is to read the website some more and then price out how much the ingredients are.
Yeah.
Because with 6 cats, it's
yeah,
24 ounces a day.
Exactly. Yeah, they do have, I mean, they have a cart there. The only thing I would say is do the checkout. You might be able to source turkey more locally, ground. You just have to make sure that you have the skin and thigh meat.
Right, it has to be a whole turkey, not just people turkey.
Yeah. And then you can do bone meal instead of having bone ground into it. But this place, you do have the option of having, I think you can get turkey with bone ground into it, I think, but I'm not.
Sounds like go and explore the site and see what I can find on.
Exactly. Do you want to take a sample home to your kitties?
Sure.
Okay. I have a smaller bag that I can give you. Because they probably won't all like it the first time around. But
let's see what Nala thinks, because she's my problem child.
Yeah. And even if it's just her that you're feeding a separate meal.
Yeah, the problem is getting them to eat separately.
Yeah.
Yes, you probably will now.
Yes. I will put this in a second bag without.
It's definitely helpful to see it though, because you can kind of get an idea of what it should look like and you know what the ingredients
what to expect.
Yeah.
How it all works out. I think you would feed them based on weight. I think there's a way to calculate it. But I don't know for sure, Jen. Hi, Snoopy.
Another helper.
Snoopy has helped himself to the thing here.
Snoopy said it smells good.
I think you need to get it down. Snoopy went to the vet today for his senior semi-annual and got his first in-office blood pressure. He was not a fan of the stuff on his paw. And I got to see him get his cysto something. His urine withdrawal.
Oh.
It's one of the things I did not get to see when I observed the vet techs doing vet tech things at the emergency hospital.
Now, is that what you're in school for?
I'm taking prereqs for the vet tech program at Pierce.
Okay.
And I'm officially a tier 2 applicant, which means I might officially be accepted once I know I will have grades good enough to make it in the program. I just don't know if they'll be good enough that I boot out people on the current list.
It's like, where are you on the list?
Yeah, there's 80 applicants. There are 40 spots.
I was going to say, I'm sure there weren't 80 spots.
Yeah, Pima doesn't have quite Pima starts the program like every 8 weeks or something. And so I could go to Pima and pay $30,000 for the whole program, or I could go to Pierce and pay $12,000 for the whole program.
I think I'd go for the 12 even if I had to wait a little longer.
Yeah, and I'd have to commute.
Yeah.
Which is fine, because who wants to commute from Tacoma up to Microsoft? My husband would have to do that, and that would not be fun. It would be miserable.
No.
It's probably about as bad as commuting from where you are down to the east side.
Well, I just take the bus. I take the bus in Woodville. But I used to work, I spent 17 years in Microsoft,
so you know.
I have many years I drove that ride.
Yeah.
And it's not that bad actually for up here, but it would be horrible to go.
Yes. Yes. He has some coworkers that commute from Raymond,
Mm,
and I could not do that myself.
no, no. I'm lucky that my current employer is very much a supporter of work from home and stuff. So we have people in home offices all over the place.
That's awesome.
And I'm not. I work from home about half time. But
Oh, gotcha. Do you currently work there?
Microsoft? No, I left in 2014.
Oh,
I didn't like where they were going, and I didn't like the politics. And
yeah.
at a certain point, it's like 17 years is enough.
Yeah. He actually, I think he started working there. I think he stopped working as a blue badge. Is it blue badge that's full time?
Blue badge is full time.
I think he did 10 years of blue badge, and then he's been an orange badge since then.
At least with the orange badge, you don't have to deal with this stupid political review crap.
Exactly. He had a couple managers that stole credit for his work. And
Yeah.
gave him bad reviews and all that good stuff.
That kind of stuff is a mess.
Alright, I'm back in, guys. Changing gloves out. I'm gonna finish portioning it out and go wash everything and do this all over again. Are there any questions that I missed? I think I missed Annie's question. Annie? I will save it out. If I didn't have a sore throat, I would be singing. I might even sing anyway. I need a spatula. Night Terminator. No, Maya. Here, look at the bowl. As you can see, Maya is helping herself to the cookie dough at the bottom of the mixing bowl. So we're going to put 7 days worth of food in here. Alright, so Maya and Sophie officially have food for the next week. I put 7 days worth of food in here. I'm gonna go throw it in the freezer. Go on, baby. So 5 pounds of rabbit and a little over 2 pounds of turkey makes about 2 weeks of food for us. I'm probably not doing this the most sterile way. But kitties are doing fine. So, yeah. Any questions? I see Maya's still chowing down and cleaning the bowl for me. Snoopy, did you want to clean the quarter cup? Here you go. Snoopy says, sure, I'll clean the quarter cup for you. This also goes so much faster when you have somebody else helping. Like, we usually do an assembly line, me and Mike. I prep all the supplements and he mixes the meat, and then I measure and he seals and flattens. This is definitely a family activity for you, Jen and Megs. Megs, whichever one it is. I don't remember how you say it. I'm doing double layers of Ziploc bag because I don't want them to get freezer bite. This batch appears to be slightly smaller than the other one. So I don't think I'm going to get a whole week's worth of food out of this. Right now I'm at, this is 10 days worth of food. Alright, so I got about 12 days worth of food out of this one recipe. Actually, it might have been 13. I did give away that little bit of sample to Lana's mom. Oh yeah, would you like to clean out another bowl? Here's Snoop. Here you go, sweetie. Look at how clean she's made the bowl. Okay, thank you. I'm gonna go clean up and I'll finish doing the rest of it in here because everything's in here. So if anybody wants to see anything up close, let me know. One, two. Oh yeah? I'll be back once I'm done washing these, and then I'll be mixing again. All right. Gloves. One. Oh yeah. All right.